Hello DIYers. If you ever wanted a home lift that can handle 8,000 pounds and runs on a standard wall plug, today I'm sharing my story on how I bought a mid-rise scissor lift for my home garage. And just to say it up front, this video is not sponsored. I invested my own personal time and money, and this video is me sharing what I learned and how to buy and set everything up. If you've been even slightly thinking about getting a home lift, I hope this video helped you decide. For me, it's been a dream come true, so here's a super quick summary so that you can decide if you want to continue watching. The Katool X85 mid-rise lift is perfect for my garage with 8.5-foot ceilings. It's a hydraulic lift that will require some experience with both hydraulic fittings and electric wiring. It can be set up with a 110 volt or 220 volt plug. I set it up for 110, and I've lifted a 4,400 pound Toyota Highlander without ever tripping a breaker. Even with the low ceilings, it's enough to raise the sedan more than 40 inches off the ground, and with a mid-size SUV, I can get about 2 feet of clearance. The lift cost me just under $3,000 all in, including taxes and liftgate service. That's the bulk of the information. The rest of this video will be unboxing and setup, so if you're interested in that, let's continue. If not, I hope this quick summary helped convince you to look into getting a lift for your garage. And if you could spare a like or subscribe on your way out, or use my affiliate link to purchase the lift or other things I recommend, that's all in the description. Thank you. Alright, let's get started. If I had to guess, there's a good chance you ended up finding this video because you were looking at and considering a more portable lifting system like QuickJack. In my opinion, for a little bit more money, you can have a semi-pro grade lift that is significantly safer and more versatile than the QuickJack system. And while you can't toss this lift onto the back of a truck, the X85 mid-rise lift can easily be moved around your garage. More on that later. The first thing to know about buying a mid-rise scissor lift like this is that it is industrial equipment and very heavy, to the tune of 1,200 pounds in crate form. While Katool does offer quote-unquote free delivery, they also optimize for industrial business delivery and expect the customer to retrieve their own pallet from the truck. So unless you have a forklift or pallet jack available, you may have to option into residential liftgate service, like I did, in order to get the pallet from the driveway into your workspace. On eBay where I ordered, they message you after payment to confirm and work with you to pay for the liftgate service. My understanding is on Amazon, they'll end up doing the same to confirm if you're at a residential or commercial address and if you need a liftgate service. And honestly, the liftgate service was great. The delivery guy was able to take the pallet all the way to the garage for me. It's really not worth saving 5% on the total price to have to deal with trying to get a 1,200 pound package into the garage by yourself. Now for unboxing. If I were to do it again, I'd probably convince a friend to come help. The smaller box is the control console, and even that is a solid 100 pounds. Luckily, it does have wheels. We'll come back to the control console when we get to the setup, or you can jump to the setup section using the chapter markers below. For the lift itself, it's a massive crate. The top does come off, but the challenge is trying to get the bottom of the crate off. And I'll say it now, even as I fast cut through this, I don't think what I did was the best way of getting it off. As a car guy, I just didn't have the right tools to cut the box away. If you have a reciprocating saw, cutting the bottom crate into smaller pieces and pulling it out in sections is likely going to be easier. For what I'm doing, if I had 4 jack stands, maybe I could have figured out a way to lift the base enough off the ground to pull the crate out. Anyway, all of this is to say, learn from my mistakes and check the comments to see if anyone left good advice. If anyone does, I'll pin it for others to see. Thanks in advance for sharing your insights. However you decide to remove the crate, we can move on to setting everything up. There are 2 components to the setup. One is getting the control console electrically wired up, as well as connecting the hydraulic fittings and priming the system with hydraulic fluid. The second is setting up the lift itself. The control console is the more complicated of the 2, so we'll start there first. But if you want to first set up the lift itself, the chapter markers below can help you jump around. Okay, so let's do an overview. Up top is the control panel, and below it is the circuit board that controls everything. There's nothing to set up or modify here, but there are wires that lead below. Those wires need to be connected. There are wires that lead from the console to the motor below. We'll first connect that, as that is just a nut that you screw on by hand. The next easiest task is connecting the hydraulic lines. One side of the hydraulic line has only one fitting, and that's the side that connects to the console. A 17mm wrench will get that fitting in place. You can use a little Teflon tape here if you want to be safe, but it's been fine for me with no leaks without it. Next, taped to the hydraulic lines are 2 pairs of wires with yellow and white connectors. These connect to the respective yellow and white connectors on the console. A little confusing because the wire colors don't fully match. For both sets, the blue wire connects to the blue wire, and the other colors go together. This is true for both the yellow connector pair and the white connector pair. Now we can bring the hose wire bundle to the lift base to connect the other side. You'll see that the base only has one connection point for the hydraulic hose that attaches with a 17mm wrench. The other 2 connections only fit one way, so black to black and white to white. Now we're ready to wire the wall plug. We'll route the wires through the back of the console, and you'll see these power wires do not include an electric plug. The system can be configured to both support 110 volt and 220 volt. So Katool lets you choose which plug you want. For example, if you have a dryer outlet or something and would prefer to use that, you can set it up for 220. But here I've chosen 110. The plug itself is from Home Depot, and it's a Leviton 15 amp angle plug to keep the wiring as flush to the wall as possible. Info for this plug and everything else is in the description. Wiring for the plug is a little confusing because it's not the traditional black, white, green we're used to in the US. Instead, because this lift is made in China, it's using IEC standards for the wire colors. The manual actually does a decent job of showing a schematic, but it's pretty simple. The brown wire is for the hot wire, and that will connect to the black wire. The blue wire is the neutral and connects to the white, and the ground is a green and yellow striped wire that connects to the green ground. With the plug set up, we can plug it in and move on. Now let's add hydraulic fluid, and I'm using standard AW32 hydraulic fluid. You'll pour it right into the reservoir in the control console. It will take about a full gallon, but leave about a quarter of it in the bottle so that we can first bleed the system and work the fluid into the lines. Once the fluid is in, we can start the bleeding process. I did this by cycling the lift fully up and down a handful of times. Once the lift is fully back down, check the fluid level again and top it off. It should take the rest of the bottle with no issue. We're pretty much done, but let me take a moment to explain the controls as they work slightly different than a 2-post lift you might see at a mechanic shop. The red dial turns the console on and off. The up button makes the lift go up. The green lock button isn't a lock release, as it would be in a more traditional post lift, but a way to release the hydraulic pressure and have it rest on the mechanical lock. The down button is actually the button that releases the lock and then brings the lift down. It releases the lock by going up slightly and then back down. If you're not prepared, seeing the lift go up when pushing the down button is slightly alarming and makes you think the button is wired wrong. While it's not intuitive, don't worry, it is working as intended. All we have left is to install the ramp and lift extension flaps. These are relatively straightforward, but you'll need a set of snap ring pliers to remove the snap rings that secure the rod. We'll need to remove the snap ring, remove the rod, then line up the ramp flap. From there, we reinsert the rod and replace the snap ring. I recommend testing a few times to ensure it's secure and aligned properly. We're reaching the end of a long video, so here's the other 3 flaps done at the same time. Remove the snap ring along with the rod. We can insert the flap, then insert the rod and snap ring, and give it a test. Now we're fully done. Here's another shot of the lift going up and down. Let's take my A4 and lift it to give you an accurate view of what a vehicle looks like on a lift. The lift comes with jack pads, and we'll place them on each corner. Here's a shot of the placement of the pads on the front and on the rear. It's the same for both sides. Here's a shot of the car lifted as high as it can with the garage door open. It's about 30 inches of ground clearance underneath, and the roof of the A4 combined with the lift is about 82 inches. With the garage doors closed, it would go up about another 8 inches or so, but working with the garage door open is a typical use case, so I wanted to show that. Keep in mind that the way the controls work, the lift needs to go up about 4 inches or so before coming back down, so you never really want to test the max height in an 8.5 foot garage. Hello, Alan from the future here. When editing the video, I realized there were a couple more things I didn't show. First, it's how the lift moves around. There are these detachable wheels and they slide on with the lift platform raised. When the platform comes back down, they lock into place and allow the platform to move around. My unit has been a little bit beat up since the year that I bought this, and it doesn't roll around as smoothly anymore. I think it's warped a little bit, but I can still get it to where it needs to go. The other thing is that the minimum height of the platform is a little tall. You saw previously that the A4 barely cleared it. Since recording those clips, I've utilized some RV leveling blocks to build custom low height ramps. Not only does it help cars get on the lift, but it creates a little bit more clearance. With the higher clearance, I've supplemented the lifting blocks that came with the kit with some taller ones. The taller ones give a little bit more flexibility in how cars sit on the ramp and give better clearance to the wheels from the collapsible flaps. And that's it. I hope you found this video guide where I set up and showed how to use Katool's X85 mid-rise scissor lift. If you're interested, there are referral links below where I can earn commissions if you purchase at no extra cost to you. If not, I hope you consider supporting the channel in other ways like subscribing, liking, or sending this to a friend. Every little bit helps me make more content like this. And if you do have questions or want to know something I didn't cover, please leave a comment and I'd be happy to chat there. I'm Alan, and this is Metal Loop. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.